Hello, my name is Jesse Garcia,
My name is Justin Sanchez.
and this is our video presentation for our English final, our English signature assignment, I should say, on part of an essay, ours being research. If we go to the next slide, we start off with library database research. Now, for every single student in TSC, it probably applies to other schools. We're focusing TSC for this. In order to get a valid, a credible source for your citation, or in order to get a credible citation, credible source, whatever, usually what you want to do is you want to find a place that gives you these credible sources. Now, for us here at TSC, that's usually the UTRGV library database. Now, in order to access this database, you can do one of two things, I believe, anyway. The first one is, of course, going to UTRGV, going down to the library, and then heading from there. It's very simple, very straightforward. I believe there's also a second link in the TSC website, but I think it's like under students, somewhere around there, under education, one of those two. And yeah, once you arrive to the library database website, the library page, you can search up the relevant term or word, both same thing, for whatever you're looking for. For example, food or some kind of political agenda. You search it up, and then you get a list of results. Now, if you're looking for something more specific, like a peer-reviewed journal, a video, a book, an article, you can apply filters, which would shorten down the results in order to let you find out what you're looking for. Once you've found that certain thing you're looking for, you can look at it online, or depending on the book, you can check it out. It doesn't matter. And you can just make sure that you want that. If it's, for example, something you need for a citation, they already have right there a little button that you can click, and it would instantly create a citation for you. That way you can just copy it and then paste it in your essay and just adjust it a little bit. That way you can have it ready for any MLA, APA format style essay. I think that's pretty much it on my end. Jesse, you want to add anything?
Yes, for those of you who prefer a more physical approach onto getting your data from a library database, if you don't understand links, which I personally don't, if you start at the TSC building, specifically the Olivetta building or the Student Service Center building, and you head towards North Hall, if you just keep going straight from that path, eventually you'll land in UTRGV. And once you're there, there's a wooden bridge, and if you go through that wooden bridge and go to your right, there should be a little convenience store / cafe area that's called the Grid, and right next to it is the library. When you walk into the library, to your left there should be a help desk as well as a arcade machine looking device, ATM looking device, and it works the same way as the link does, except on a physical database. Like, there's a bunch of different selections. One was all the books in the library, another one was for citations, like a catalog of citations, and others were just articles and other research entries. And if you ever need you're like having trouble on how to use it or what you're just doing in general, that's what the help desk next to it is for. Normally there's at the least 2 people on it at all times, so if you ever need help, don't be shy to ask them. That's everything down there.
I think we can move on. For this one, why don't you start us off?
Okay, so in order to use citations properly as quotes, first what you have to do is you have to use a quote from any given book, article, etc. And after it has to be in quotes. And after the quotes, in parentheses, you put the last name of the person who posted said article or book or anything, and the page number you got from. And that's the basic gist of it. This one's not all that hard or complicated. Most people don't really have much trouble with this one personally. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, pretty much. That's pretty much all correct. As Justin mentioned, the quote itself was from Dear America, Notes of a Documented Citizen by San Antonio Vargas. That's why you can see his last name there, and page 1 after it was from the first page. Didn't we learn anything new about citations that they needed something else?
Yeah, but those are citations, like the works cited.
Oh, that's okay. That's my bad. Besides that, nothing else. All right, we'll move on. Next, we have evaluating web sources. This pretty much relates to the second slide, because mostly it's just making sure the information on that web source is valid. That's what it means by evaluating web sources. It's making sure that the information isn't just baloney. Now, ways to do this are, of course, using the UTRGV website, because they also give you websites that are credible. Now, let's say, for example, you aren't from TSC and you don't have access to this or your own version of that kind of database. There are some other options if you're allowed to use those. For example, Google Scholar is does the same thing, or you search up something and the results it gives you are purely academic and they come from academic sources. I'm currently not aware of any other place you can get academically credible sources like that. I think you just kind of have to eyeball it. But for the most part, it's always recommended you use that kind of search engine in order to get those kind of results. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yes. If you want to eyeball it, like he said, an easy way to tell academic websites from normal websites would be normally how most websites end with like www.wikipedia.com and stuff like that. Instead of .com, normally they're either .gov, .org, or I believe it's .net, and that's an easy way to tell between academic sites from normal sites. The .net, I'm not entirely sure. That one's like a half and half, but the other two normally are academic sources for anyone who wants to find their own information completely by themselves, which works for them sometimes for people who know what they're doing. And that's all you really need to know. That's all I got for now.
Let's move on. Next up, we have how to make a works-cited page. Why don't you start us off with this one?
So I've taken a couple cracks at this one myself, personally. So at this point, I should be a basic expert on it, at least know more or less how to make one. And the way it works is first you have to title it a work cited, if it's one citation, or works cited for multiple. I have an example of a citation right here. You normally put the author or anyone who published it, their first and last name, the title of the thing they published, the containers, I believe they're called, in italics, and the volume numbers, and as well as the website just go in normal plain text. You also have to make sure to have hanging indentions, as very, very important, as I found out. And for MLA, you have to make sure it's double spaced and all the basic MLA requirements.
Yeah.
And that's about everything I have to say. There are websites you can use to do this automatically. I would trust them, and I did trust them, but now I don't trust them because they just don't work, I guess. Is there anything you'd like to say, Omar?
Pretty much what he said at the ending part. I mean, I tried using those citation machines on the web. It didn't get me anywhere. My research got sent back, so it's better just to learn how to do it yourself, learn how to properly cite a work piece. Otherwise, it's just gonna get sent back to you, or you're just gonna give it as a lower grade because you didn't do it properly. So just make sure that you have everything that I just mentioned. You make sure you have your quotations and your hanging indentions and all that. And make sure it's solid, because otherwise it will be sent back to you. Okay, and that was pretty much the end of our presentation. This was, again, for our signature assignment video presentation. My name was Jessica Garcia.
And my name is Justin Sanchez.
And have a good day.